Hi, this is Ken. How's everything going? Today is Friday. Do you have a plan for your weekend? Today, the kata is called which are in, where two arrays of strings are given, and we should return a sorted list in lexicographical order of the strings of the first one, which are substrings of strings of the second one. Let's look at the example. In the first example, we can see there are three strings in the first list. For the first string, arp, which is a substring of harp and sharp as well, so it should be returned. And also live is also a substring of strings in the second list, and also the third one. So all three strings should be returned, and they need to sort the list in a lexicographic order. And in the second example, we have tar, which is not a substring of any element of the second one, as well as mice and bull. So the return is an empty string. So let's have a try. All right, here two arrays are given. In Python, we probably call them lists more often. Intuitively, what I think is to take out each element of the first list and try to determine whether it's a substring of any element in the second one. If it is, then we return it. If not, we just ignore it. After we go through each element of the first list, we can sort them by using the built-in function sorted, because in default, this function sorts all the strings in lexical order. So let's have a try. I think first we can define a function that determines whether a given string is a substring of any element of the list. So let's say is substring. And see here we can see this is a string, and we will see the given list. So basically what we want to do is to say determine whether str1 is a substring of any element in the array. Okay, what we can do is to say, okay, first we can go through each element of the array. Then we can try to figure out whether str1 is a substring of I. I think there are two ways we can achieve this. The first method I can think is to use the function find. So we can say find str1. By using this function, if str1 is a substring of I, then the return will be anything but -1. The function will return -1. Basically means that str1 is not a substring of I. So let's say if it doesn't equal to -1, which means that if it is a substring of I, then we can say, well, it's a substring of the array. Then we can just return true as a shortcut. After we go through every element of the array and we still can't find an element that contains str1, then we can directly return false, which means that str1 is not a substring of any element in this given array. All right. Then how can we use this function? So if you know that there's a built-in function called filter, which basically apply a function to each element of a list. If the result is true, then the element will be kept or the element will be removed from the result. So we can directly say filter lambda x is substring x in array 2. So here we apply each element of array 1 and try to determine whether it's a substring of any element of array 2. If it is true, then the element will be kept or it will be removed from the result. Okay, let's then convert this iteration into list and sort it. I think this is what we need. Okay, so let's give it a try. Test. Cool. Okay, let's try this to have some random test. Oh, okay. So we have some failures. There's a duplication in our result, but we only need to keep one. Okay, we can easily fix this one. And the second one, okay, I think it's the same reason, because in our current result, there are some duplications which should be removed and keep only the unique ones. How can we do it? Simple. Let's use set, because set only contains unique items. Then let's have a try. Cool. I think we got the result. But before we submit our solution, I think I've mentioned before, there are two ways to find whether I contains str1. So this is one way, which uses find. The other way I want to give in here is to use index. So let's comment this part out and try to return the same thing by using index. So we can say if I index str1. Right. So what will be the result of the return? If the str1 is a substring of I, then we can get any result from 0 to the last index number of I. So like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, any one. If str1 isn't a substring of I, then it will return a value arrow. So here, actually, we don't need to use if to determine whether I contains str1. So we can use try. If there is no arrow, we can return true here. If there's an exception of value arrow, we can say pass. Just try to go through the next one. Let's have a try. Cool. As you can see here, this is another way to tell whether I contains str1. I can't really say which one is actually better, but in this example, definitely the previous one is easier and shorter. But I give you two solutions to you, so in the future you can tell which one is better in a given situation. Let's submit it. Cool. Let's head to the next kata.